Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nurul Aini. In this beautiful occasion, I would like to explain about the use of Edmodo in teaching writing in a blended learning setting. Today's technology is very advanced and developing, which make it easy for us to access anything, including learning. There is an application that make it easier for us to organize learning, namely Edmodo. This Edmodo application is very helpful for teachers and students to learn and teach. It's make very easy for students to access material online and increase the interest of students to do writing assignment because of the good and attractive design. Not because it is a school assignment, but it's come from their interest. Blended learning, Edmodo and writing. Blended learning, or also called hybridization, is the combination of face-to-face lesson with online blended learning that occurs when technology is used in the learning process. With this blended learning, students get new experience. Edmodo is designed similar to Facebook to attract learners and can be downloaded for free and easy. Edmodo is very suitable to be applied in teaching writing. Several students have proven it. Student engagement in ICT. Students' engagement is attitude, interest, and self-efficacy in particular learning domain. Quotes introller trend to define student engagement in this concern about the interaction between time, effort, and other relevant resources invested by student and institution to optimize student learning experience and performance. Carelessly, in 1997, a series in Carelessly stated that fundamentally, the theory expects students to involve themselves in learning activities through interaction with others and valuable tasks. Engagement is to do with student active attitude or involvement with certain objective in a particular domain taking place through interaction and tasks. Thus mentioned definition suggests that cognitive engagement is to do with student motivation to learn both how to work on tasks and how to master learning materials connecting to learning strategies. Bandura suggests cognitive processes which are influenced by student self-efficacy to reach cognitive goals or achievement. It surely means that cognitive processes in engagement are beneficial in enhancing student learning strategies which finally contribute to student critical thinking. Student critical thinking, specifically in writing, can be identified by the application of other thinking suggested by Bloom. When student order thinking that develop to the highest level, critical thinking takes place. It means that the order thinking development by Bloom is intended to shape student critical thinking from the lowest to the highest level. UGT, Use and Gratification Theory. Gratification or satisfaction is a positive or negative feeling of people toward the media they use. UGT can also be used to determine individual motivation in using media. It can be concluded that gratification is a user's positive or negative feeling toward a media and its use. UGT applies to all media such as television and internet. It is known that UGT is used on the Edmodo platform. UGT has been developed as a detailed measurement to see how students receive their class. In this occasion, the researcher used a qualitative approach. In this research, the participants were the 11th grade of private senior high school in Cimahi. The first there is 22 participants, but who joined only 17%. Data collect. Four instruments were used to collect the data. Second, document analysis, which were taken from the document posts in Edmodo, both the teacher and student posts. Document analysis and interviews were mainly utilized to get data for student engagement. Fourth, open-ended questionnaires were used to check students' opinion about the use of Edmodo. Validity and reliability. The students were guided by the teacher to discuss the text and assess if they found any difficulties in comprehending the text. The teacher or instruction presents instead is crucial for students. Data analysis began with organizing and preparing the data. Initial learning activities. Having checked in the small group, final assignments were then given to students in which they were asked to write their own text with the same topic discussed on that day required after they were given a writing plan. Having given the final assessment, the students start writing by guidance from the teacher, both offline or online classes. Feedback to Bersin can be directly given right away after students share their works. When starting to write in Edmodo Note menu, students construct their own language in the real context in which they need to ingest their ideas all together by using Edmodo. They have got modeling in the first and second flow interest to direct them to create a good text. When producing a text, students could not produce in a single meeting, since writing requires not only organizing idea but also mechanics. Edmodo facility for student engagement. First, Edmodo through note menu allowed students to work independently within a small group feature. Edmodo is intended to personalize learning, in which students will have their own space for learning without any disturbance or from other. Reading and levels that technology, including learning platform, should give facilities for students to work independently. Second, it enables students to concentrate on their quality of work. From the document posts, it could be concluded that the students were eager to correct their works by welcoming teacher feedback, showing that participation and work involvement took place. Third, it enables students to take part in learning situations. Those who were interested commonly signed in Edmodo very often, while the rest did not, as confirmed by some students in the interview session that they prefer offline to online learning. Fourth, it directs students to see Edmodo as part of learning. The interviews revealed that they utilized Edmodo because it had to do with academic matters. Those observed facts to quotes in Toller indicate student involvement in academic activity to enrich their schooling experience. Another facility provided by Edmodo was interaction and meaningful text. Note menu provide opportunities for student and the teacher to interact by posting something or giving comments to a post. Interaction also took place when the student post or asked genuine questions to the teacher, such as when they find difficulties to access Edmodo features. Interaction in communication among technology users. In the view of Crazy that and Sideman, is a basic requirement in language-based teaching and learning. The other thinking facility by note menu is the program flow. The students were generating ideas from the first and second flow in which they were given a text model. Then the third flow, organizing ideas based on the writing format and applying their ideas when producing a text. The student needs to formulate the thesis, argument, and recommendation in which critical thinking is needed. Grayson and Kanuka claim critical thinking contributes to student higher level of learning. The student critical thinking was simply identified from how they generate their ideas, such as developing a thesis to show their position, developing arguments, and concluding the topic by giving recommendation. This digital library, or what Poland calls as electronic learning material, is one of the features provided by Edmodo. It means that Edmodo fulfills the noble principle of using technology in the classroom. Edmodo simply easy application in learning writing are also admired by students. Personally, the students admit that learning writing with Edmodo was easy and simple, as well as innovated them to write method as provide students with good writing mechanism. The discussion of using Edmodo for communication also emerges in Piotrowski as functionally offered by technology in learning and student connection in academic surroundings. Saying how the student reacted, it was clear that the student expressed positive response toward the feedback. Apart from the finding of the research, there are a number of methods have not been covered by the present research. Edmodo in teaching writing is limited to only the single month. Therefore, to get more relatable data, longer research is suggest performing third and another domain of engagement. Behavioral or emotional is also worth researching to see how students completely engage themselves in blended learning environment. Third, to avoid confusion in using Edmodo, introducing Edmodo clearly is suggest finally the student engagement should be more enhanced by the use of Edmodo in blended learning classes. Improving the student motivation to engage and take full responsibility in blended learning will be a key point in implementing a successful blended learning. Conclusion: the finding of the present research indicate that the implementation of Edmodo in teaching writing also show that Edmodo facilitates the student engagement cognitively through note menu. The note menu, which is used during the writing process, apparently facilitates the student with interactivity and meaningful writing text. Cognitive process of order thinking, specifically in conjunction with the implementation of engagement, the students show various response, both positive and negative, toward the use of Edmodo. When which is the student confusion in using Edmodo and completability of smartphone application learning are also identified. Apart from the finding of the research, there are a number of methods have not been confirmed by the present research. Edmodo in teaching writing is limited to only one single month. Therefore, to get more relatable data, longer research is suggest performing another domain of engagement, behavioral or emotional, is also worth researching to see how students completely engage themselves in blended learning environment. To avoid confusion in using Edmodo, introducing Edmodo plainly is suggest Finally, the student engagement should be more enhanced by the use Edmodo in a blended learning class. Inviting student motivation to engage and take full responsibility in blended learning will be a key point in implementing a successful blended learning. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.